Hello, everyone, and welcome to take 6 of trying to cast this game. Okay, technical difficulties abound, but this is the third game that I am casting in my Return of the King 2025 Invitational Tournament. This was an invite-only tournament that I did with several players, in which the action dice were pre-rolled to what you see before you, and the Free Peoples is required to crown Aragorn turn 1. That's almost all the rules. I'm going to get into it. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, our shadow player Quadratic, who you may recognize from the 2025 base game World Tournament Finals, in which he performed quite well. Definitely go check out those games. His password is corrupting the cards for some reason, so we will unfortunately not be able to see Quadratic's cards this game. Our valiant Free People player is priceg335. Been wanting to get him in on a video for a while now, so I'm glad I get a chance to do that. I'm going to speed a little bit through this first turn, partially because of the tournament and partially because I've seen this first turn 7 times. So the Free People is required to crown Aragorn turn 1. This time Price is bringing Boromir and going to Minas Tirith. It will be interesting to see after the tournament is all complete how often people bring Boromir or break off more members of the Fellowship, and how often they go for Minas Tirith versus Dol Amroth or Pelargir, but Dol Amroth. Shadow puts Saruman into play and moves Barad-dûr to Gorgoroth, and then moves Farhad to Nirhad and Gorgoroth to Minas Morgul. Good, we all happy. I'm not frustrated with this first couple turns, i.e. the corruption of the replay at all. All right. Here we are. Okay. Actual new content. Shall we go? Another note, the Free People was required to spend a ring there if they had any of the cards that would move characters. They were allowed to use them, but they did not draw any here. Shadow allocates 0 eyes. Now that the Fellowship didn't move last round, they do roll 2 more. Unfortunately for them, they only roll 2 attacks and 4 Palantirs. Oof. Free People only roll 1 movement and 2 Palantirs themselves, but with Gandalf the Grey as the guide, they can play Elven Cloaks for a cycle, which is pretty cool, into an Ent. So that's fun. Shadow uses an Elven Ring to put Sauron to war. Okay. Reasonable. And then draws a character card. Free People move and are safe. Barely, but safe. Shadow thinks about it and moves to North Ithilien. Yeah, okay. Threatened to get Gondor under, and in fact, Gondor is coming to you. Aragorn, Boromir, and the Pelargir one-man move to Osgiliath. Interesting. I certainly like it. A little bit of offensive Gondor play here. Shadow plays Pits of Mordor into Minas Morgul, Dol Guldur, and Moria, so probably going to go for Lorien at some point, but that's fun to get Pits of Mordor played for effect this early. Swords and Eriador is played for a Dwarven Elite in Ered Luin and a Norse Regular in the Shire. Interesting to put the Regular in the Shire. I guess you just assume that's not going to matter, and draws into Faramir's Rangers. That could be big. And then another strategy card because of Gandalf, and gets Confusion or Through a Day and a Night. Both fantastic cards for the Free People. Shadow plays a red tile because you have a Palantir and why not? And Gondor is mustered towards war. Shadow begins walking around. This will probably force Gondor to spend another half move going back to Minas Tirith, although if they get to war first, maybe you just let them put Minas Tirith under siege and do some sort of field battle. That's probably completely ludicrous. The other benefit is Shadow is no longer in danger of Faramir. So that's nice. What an interesting move. Okay. Free People draw cards. They draw We Prove the Swifter and Eomer. Again, I would look at the Shadow cards. I do apologize. There's something corrupted in the replay exclusively with the Shadow cards and exclusively when I look at them. Explain that to me if you can. No, seriously, please explain that to me if you can. I think Fear Fire Foes is going to be our loser here. Obviously, you keep Anduril because it's cool. Daring Defiance is great here. Confusion's great here. Through a Day and Night's great here. So many great things. You lose the Ent. Okay. Ent's probably also a good solution there. Yeah. I get a little precious with my Ent cards. Shadow allocates 1 eye, rolls no more, so that's good for Shadow. 2 musters is good for them as well. Free people get plenty of musters and 2 characters, so that's good. No will, but still. They do, in fact, half move back to Minas Tirith. I think maybe that's a bit early and not even leaving a guy in Osgiliath. I guess if you're choosing to field battle. Shadow moves north towards Woodland Realm. Well, I guess you're glad you have your Old Forest Road guy then. Could play Faremares here. Free People doesn't even have a die face to play Faremares. What a sad day we live in. Do you run away with Aragorn? You don't run away with Aragorn. You play Fear Fire Foes. Oh, to run away with Aragorn. All right. Shadow draws a card. Interesting. Pass from the Free People. Southrons are mustered. Southrons are mustered. Fellowship moves and is safe. Horde from the East is played. Really? In South Rune. Okay. Nice big stack of Easterlings. The Dew line is looking a little scary now. Fellowship moves again. This is the move that would put them in Moria. They are safe. Wow, the Fellowship is dancing on the edge of being caught. Near Harad to West Harandor, from both Umbar and Near Harad. So a foot. Nope. Attacking Minas Tirith. Interesting. So Gondor's at war. Assumably we field battle. Yes, field battles. Big fan of field battles. Strategy card. Assuming this is a Daring Defiance. It is a Daring Defiance versus a Relentless Assault. So that's a big deal. 1, 2, 3 hits from Shadow. 2 hits from Free, which is a little bit more than one too many, one more than the Free People was hoping for. They were hoping, of course, to get Under Siege with a perfect number of hit points. They do have Boromir, so they will still be rolling 5 dice, but they do have a muster left over to start reinforcing all of Gondor and making Shadow's life sad. This, of course, puts Gondor to war, which I imagine was a major component of Quadratic's thinking here. This allows him to get the Witch King. So that's what we in the business call good. Free People draws Celeborns and Axe and Bow. Celeborn's looking less like a thing this game at this point, but a Daylight is always fantastic. Could make a big deal in a big difference in Gondor with Boromir. Axe and Bow is drawn, which is nice. Shadow draws cards that I can't see. Fellowship okay. 1 eye allocated. 1 more roll. Very nice mix of dice here for Shadow. And a very nice mix of dice for the Free People. Unfortunately, their will is at risk of being Day Without Dawned. They haven't killed Gandalf just yet, so they're going to move and try and do that right now. They're hit for a 2. Yep, by Gandhi. And does Shadow have it? Probably not with a flag card or flag diving play. Oh, we switched to Palantir. Oh, you play with our hearts. What do all that to end with just a muster of a Mumakil and South Rune. Whoa. You're going to risk him drawing Day Without Dawn later? Okay, an Elite in Dol Amroth. South Rune to East Rune and Near Harad to Umbar, threatening Corsairs. A bit of thinking. Iron Hills to Erebor and Edoras to Westimnet. Really, guess I'm not feeling that as much myself. I understand the half move. Okay, I understand. It may make sense at least. Iron Hills is then put under, and Umbar moves to West Harandor. So no Corsairs indeed. Pelargir is attacked, no card. 1 hit incoming, 1 hit outgoing. That's a lot of hits for one guy. Yeah, and the free people just don't have the musters to really get Gondor up and running, which is really too unfortunate. Shadow does play Hill Trolls on Minas Tirith with both of them, so Minas Tirith is looking very scary. Surely we get Gandalf. We do indeed. And the Nazgul stack up on Minas Tirith. All the Nazgul. It's indicating probably a dread and despair there. Fellowship moves and is hit. Yes, hit. For a 2 reveal, killing Legolas, we get through Moria to be hit by an eye, so no damage there. Now the Fellowship is 5 moves out from Rivendell, so halfway to the mountain, but already down to just 4 corruption in the Fellowship. Negative 4 corruption effective. They have axe and bow, which could help if they can find the time to play it. They are at 6 dice, which is fantastic. And they have Athelas. So maybe there's some hope here yet. Oh, we take a small break. And we're back. Whoop. Okay. Last die. I forgot. I missed that this was the last die of the round. Character card, which I'm reading as a Dread and Despair. Versus, what do you play here? You play the Daylight? I think you play the Daylight. You play Faramir's. I would have saved that just for the absolute fun of playing Faramir's to get a guy in Osgiliath, but maybe that's just not worth the time. 2 hits, 3 hits incoming. Now that'll be blunted by Shield Wall a little bit. 3 hits outgoing, 4 hits outgoing. So Gondor is putting in some work, and so maybe maybe Faramir did his job in the end. Yeah, that did some pretty serious damage to the Shadow. Free people draw Mithril Coat and Thranduils. Thranduils is an excellent pickup here. What do you throw as free people here? Holy cow. I don't know, man. Eomer? I guess you throw Eomer? Throw axe and bow. Interesting. You throw a 1 corruption card. Sure. 1 eye allocated for Shadow. No more rolled, and mostly characters. Free people get those musters they were looking for, so they begin with a regular in Lemedon and a leader in Dol Amroth, which makes a whole ton of sense. Minas Tirith is attacked. I don't like that for Shadow. You're giving the south of Gondor time to muster. The Confusion is played versus Dread and Despair. No hits from Shadow. 1 hit from Free, so an overall good trade for Free. Stop draw. Fellowship hides. Las Arnach is attacked from where? They did not... Pelargir. Cool. There's their 1 hit. 1 hit back. Wow, the Gondor onesies... interesting. We're not even going to go for Dol Amroth. You're just going to take your 3 points and call it a day. That's a bit scary. Gondor +4 on 16 dice. Yeah, Gondor has been doing just fine. Fellowship moves and is safe. We reconsolidate onto Umbar. We're a little scared of the free peoples there. Sure, I kind of prefer a Gorgoroth to Minas Morgul there, but that's kind of quibbling over nothings. Free people move again. Yeah, with Gondor, with Dol Amroth not threatened, I think I would pass here, but with Dol Amroth not being attacked, you have a lot more freedom to move the Fellowship, and you're missed, so good for you. Shadow attacks Minas Tirith. That was somewhat inevitable. Assumably you play the Daylight here. This is indeed a Daylight versus a Deadly Strife, so good timing there. 2 from Shadow and 3 from Free. Press, and of course this will certainly, yep, that's the end of Gondor, or of Minas Tirith specifically, and of Boromir. But boy howdy, did they take a toll. 2 full stacks plus Hill Trolls have moved into Gondor, and there are only what 11 hit points left in all of Gondor. So Gondor did something like 13 hit points of damage just from Minas Tirith and Pelargir and Lossarnach. Fellowship moves again. Wow, they are just steaming. And they're safe. Wow. Shadow does have Ring Wraiths are abroad. And they just move all the Nazgul to Narrows of the Forest to attack Old Forest Road. I think I would have put one in Iron Hills. Especially with only character dice left, you might want to get Erebor under right now. But that's kind of a nothing. The one hit is obtained, and the armies of the north are not nearly as cool as Gondor. Woodland Realm was put under siege. Now you, of course, play Thranduils and draw Imrahil. Sure. Woodland Realm is attacked. Wow, we're just steamrolling the elves down. Okay. Eomer versus Krula's Death. 3 from Shadow, 1 from Free. That is unfortunate. Press. A Relentless Assault. He takes 2. Okay. And there's the 2 hits. Wow, Woodland Realm just splat goes Woodland Realm. Used up all your good dice in Minas Tirith because that's how dice work. The elves are at war, which is kind of handy for the free people. And then, what are we doing? Regulars. The voice of Saruman is used to get a regular in all of the Isengard regions. Where are we at? Hold please while I turn off my Discord sounds. Okay, where are we at? So Shadow has 5 points, but the Fellowship is almost certain to make Mordor this round while holding Mithril Coat. And Dol Amroth is completely safe. Shadow's going to take the entire Dew line, but where are their last points coming from? Assumably Helm's Deep. But Aragorn's there to prevent that. And if Deadman is ever drawn, Pelargir will fall. Shadow is on a timer. Horn of Gondor is drawn, and Bjorn, so a scouts, but Bjorn theoretically could matter. Grimbjorn, excuse me. Not Bjorn. That would be completely ridiculous. And free people at 6 dice is just terrifying for me as Shadow. I keep wanting to look at the Shadow cards. Okay. Shadow draws their cards. They are almost out of strategy cards, which is an interesting position to be in as Shadow. Free people declare over into no man's land. Sure. 1 I allocated. 2 more rolled. A generous assortment of attacks. Almost all musters, but 2 moves. So the free people Fellowship will assumably make Mordor. They do spend the will first to prevent Day Without Dawn, and they are safe. Nazgul Search is played, though, and that will cost them a ring to get to Mordor this round, which assumably they will do, presumably. All of the above. Erebor is put under siege from Iron Hills. Do you manually muster Rohan? Okay, manually mustering Rohan makes sense to me. Erebor is attacked. Imrahil is played versus Corsairs. Interesting. 4 -1 for Shadow. And just 1 for free. Wow. Gondor held so well, but everything else is falling so fast. No card, no card. 2 more hits from Shadow. 0 from free. Oh. And there falls Erebor. Erebor fell to and did 0 damage. Oh, man. Or 1 damage. They did 1 damage. Rohan's mustered again. Geez, that hurts so bad. Emotionally, if nothing else, right? 2 elites are upgraded in Northank. Half move from Helm's Deep and West Emnet to Fords. Interesting. Okay. New Powers Rising is played. That sucks for the free people. And your last die is going to have to be moving the Fellowship if you want to make Mordor. They do make it very sneaky, but cruel weather. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Okay, that's a big, big deal. Now, an ent draw here could be quite good. Free people have scouts, so I guess the move to Fords makes sense. Book of Mozarbul, sadly not going to help the dwarves at all. And yeah, so a very different position than we were in 1 round ago, or 2 rounds ago, even 1 round ago, even. Free people is going to need some help at this point, I would say. They declared a Dagger Lad, but it's going to be a tough one. 1 eye allocated, 1 more rolled. Generous assortment of attacks. More characters than maybe the Fellowship is looking for, although playing Mithril and maybe even Athlas Mithril Coat could be worth their time. Aragorn moves with Gandalf to the Fords. Yeah, this game's probably going to come down to whether Rohan can hold. Another elite mustered in Orthanc. What are we doing? Why are things moving in weird ways? Dol Amroth to Lamadon and Ered Luin to Tower Hills. Sure. I'm sure that the dwarves moving is just I don't have anything better to do with my life. But threatening Pelargir is a good move here, I would say. Fords is attacked. As I thought, I wonder if the move from Dol Amroth to Lamadon should have been a character die, saving the musters for Rohan, or at least attempting to. Ent's Rage is played. We are going to fight here for 1 round. That makes sense. Shadow gets 1 hit. Free people get 5 with the Ent's Rage. Oof. Press, yep. Completely empty Orthanc because there's no Gandalf anymore, but we reinforce. And they go around to go take all of Rohan, which makes sense. Minas Tirith moves out to his Gileath. Is there any world where you attack West Emnet here? No, there's no world where you do that. Cool. Glad we went over that. Pelargir is attacked from Lamadon. Advantageous position. No hits for anybody. Press. Yeah, that makes sense. It's unfortunate you didn't get your hit, but whatever. Pelargir on the swing back. Do you play as scouts here? No card. Okay. 1 hit from Shadow. 3 from Free. Oof. Shadow presses, and you retreat then. Yeah. You need to at least pretend to hold Dol Amroth. What are we doing here? Moria moves to... Whoa. What are we doing here? Counting is hard. Counting is very hard. He wants to win this round. So Dale and Helm's Deep. That feels a field battle. Yes, I approve. All right. Are we playing Anduril here? That'd be fun too. We're playing Anduril. So 4 hits from Shadow and 4 hits from Free. I don't think that field battle was worth the time, but it was fun. Yeah, 4 hits from Shadow was a lot there. Fellowship moves. It is hit for 3, which is unfortunate for them. They are down to 1 Hobbit. South Dunland, or North Dunland, South Dunland, and Edoras is captured. So things are pretty tight. Mithril Coat is played, and Shelob is played. All right. Yeah. So Fellowship, the Free People's player has to hold Helm's Deep, although they have Gandalf and Aragorn there. A good heroic death could really make quite a big difference there, or similar. Dol Amroth's probably fine, especially with the scouts in hand, versus 3 regulars, 2 elites. That's probably enough to hold Dol Amroth with 1 muster on the way back or something. Pardon me. There is no city's victory in the cards, so Dale is not a problem. That is a very, very nice hunt pool, though. All the ones are effectively zeros because you take the Hobbit and then Gollum's the guide. So it's a very beautiful hunt pool. 1 I allocated, 2 mores rolled, only 3 attacks for Shadow, and lots of move for the Free People. This could do it. I'm going to think. I'm not going to take a whole bunch of time thinking about these. I do apologize for that. Chooses to make a regular enfold. An elite enfold. Okay. Yeah, if you can retake Edoras, you buy yourself around. I like that quite a bit. Oleg High is played in Edoras. Interesting. That is unfortunate. Would rather that not go there. Yeah, we would rather that be on Helm's Deep. Fellowship moves. It's a 1. A perfect tile. Shadow plays another red tile. That is unfortunate. They didn't have time to play that before the Fellowship moved again. Helm's Deep sortie. My goodness, man. That's very scary, but you do have a sudden strike. I like it. Sudden strike versus no card. Come on. 1 hit. It's better than nothing. Yeah, the Shadow chooses to keep the elite, but reduces the number of dice they're rolling. So 3 hits from the Free People, only 1 from Shadow. That is enough for a lift on the Siege of Helm's Deep. That's so cool. That's so cool. Now Shadow's thinking, yeah, let's give this a shot. Yep, all the Nazgul move down to Pelargir. 3 dice left. 1 Elven Rings in the Shadow repertoire. What do you do here is free? Just muster? You could muster scouts, then muster again with the Will of the West. Have a pretty good stack. Or you could muster in Helm's Deep and fold, move to Westamnet and retake Edoras. I don't like. I guess you're scared of a swarm of bats. That's reasonable. Unfortunately, it does give a chance for South Dunland to come down to Gap. Choose to put a leader in Dol Amroth and a regular in Helm's Deep. I don't like this position for the Free People anymore. Dol Amroth is attacked. It's going to be 1 die. Fellowship moves. It's a 3. Yeah, you just take that. Can Shadow take Helm's Deep? 2 presses. Character card versus no card. Cruel as death. Ooh. 3 hits for Shadow. 1 for free. That is not a good start. Press. Great Host versus Advantageous. That is unfortunate that does not have an effect. Shadow misses. Free People hits 1. That's enough that if the Shadow wants Great Host to trigger, they must lose their press. Yep. So he chooses to do the press, which I think is the correct move here. Does he have a card? He has a card. Free People doesn't have any card. It's 3 regulars versus 2 regulars. Dread and Despair, and okay, that doesn't really matter. One hit. Oh, yeah, and one hit back. The Free People hold. Twice now they've held with like one or two regulars in an important siege. Oh, this is great. Frodo, you're going to have to run. No mouth for the Shadow. They had to spend all their dice to get this position at all. And actually, now that they're in this position, if Free People even gets a sort of reasonable roll, it's entirely probable that Helm's Deep holds and Edoras falls. That could really matter. And Red Arrow could matter. It's a little weird that it helps Edoras. Okay. Somehow we have the wrong card draws. Okay, instead we draw the Eagles are coming. That will probably not matter. Okay, one eye allocated, two more rolled. Shadow has 4 attacks if they muster the mouth. And Free People have enough move to dunk, but not much spare. They spend a will to move. It's a 1, no reveal. That's a great start for Free People. Dol Amroth is attacked. Character card versus no card. It's Black Breath, so just a cycle. But the hits are got. That's Shadow up to 10 points. Can Frodo dunk? Spending the ring here, or the character die here. That feels a little risky, but I suppose you want to give yourself the opportunity of a hybrid in a few minutes here. It's an I, but a 2, 3, 4. Numbers are hard. A 4 reveal. Shadow draws a card. Surely you... Okay, it doesn't really matter. Hide. So let's take a... They're talking about the hunt pool. So obviously the reds are not... reds are bad. And the eyes are bad. So 6 of the 13 tiles kill the Fellowship or are bad. Or effectively kill the Fellowship through a loss in military. Shadow undoes their move. Shadow's going to get the mouth. Okay. Yeah, they do a point check. Yeah, I think this is a good point. Shadow can move all their leadership back up to Erebor and go take Dale, so retaking Edoras is not a valid mitigation strategy. Free People is assumably going to draw a Free People character card here, see what they get. They get Wizard Staff. That is unfortunate. Shadow moves up to Erebor just to make sure. Free People draw a blue tile, I'm assuming. Draw a blue tile? Did they already have that blue tile and I'm just not understanding life? Hold on. Hold, please. I'm going to assume there's some nuance in the pseudo-corrupted replay that I just didn't see something. But the Free People was able to play Smeagol Helps Nice Master. It's entirely possible I'm just blind and the Free People had it in their hand the whole time. I don't think so, though. Anyway, Smeagol Helps Nice Master has gone in. Dale is attacked from the Witch King. Scouts is played, but it doesn't really matter. It was used as a cycle. Shadow is at 11 points, and we see if Frodo can dunk the ring. It's effectively a 50-50, a little bit better than that, I believe. 6 of the 14 tiles kill. Can Frodo dunk in this amazing game? Before we finish this, thank you both to Price and Quadratic. This has been an amazing game. I'm excited to see the finish here. Smeagol Helps Nice Master. And there we go, GG. He got a little too cute with Rohan. Yeah, maybe. That was quite the hold of Helm's Deep, though. GG for the Free People. And even if the Smeagol Helps Nice Master was a misdraw there for some reason. Which, to be clear, even if it was, we're not going back for that. With Mithril Coat and Sting in play and effectively a 50-50, it was a good chance for the Free Peoples to win. So, he thought he had 4 cities. Yeah, with Power 2 Great, that would have made sense. Although the Tower Hills guys would actually have made a difference in Shire. Anyway, thank you all for joining. This has been Game 3. The final pairing will be Ace versus Fat Hobbit. I don't know the release time of that video, but look forward to that one. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.